the other day that she was like, she just looked at me and was just like, why would you do that? I don't remember. Oh, it was that C one with the standing on the yacht with my, standing on the boat with my wife. I love this yacht. The sea is silent, looking out over the ocean. Yes, it's calm today. It tells no tales.
Oh. Yeah, what was the one I put on Facebook today? It said, the sky was looking ominous, so I asked Siri, surely it's not going to rain today. And she replied, yes, it is, and don't call me Shirley. That's when I realized I left my phone on airplane mode.
Airplane mode. Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done
takes a sophisticated mind to get that one.
Yeah, I've done the but that's not important right now thing more than once.
Uh-huh.
What's the whatever? It's explain what it is, but that's not important right now.
That's not important right now. Yes. Mr. Buckshot, how goes it? How's the weather in Minnesota? I know you guys are having crazy shit going on up there. Andrew.
Yeah, oh, well, I thought you were looking for an answer in the chat. No, we got some decent weather. It never got as bad as it does, or as it tends to, like further south of us, because where La Crosse sits is like in a really deep, like
he says been wet. Yeah,
it has been wet. It's been raining all day. But like La Crosse tends to sit in like this little bowl. That is, this is not what I was looking for.
But like, I know south of you down in Iowa, or my buddy Sully, they had tornadoes all around him. One of them touched down the block behind his son's house. Went through just a like F1. Messed up a apartment complex and some of that, but it was just a block behind his son's house.
Like, good God, that's pants shitting.
Too close.
Yeah, too close. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, like we're in a bowl of like bluffs. So what happens is when we have weather come in from the west that's coming in really, really hard, it actually pressurizes where we're at, and so it forces itself around us. So if you watch the radar all the time, all this severe weather just like splits like there's fucking Moses and goes around us and then reconnects on the other side and keeps going. So we generally don't get hit with a lot of stuff. But I mean, we definitely had, some decent wind, decent rain, north of us about 35, 40 minutes, the tornado touchdown outside Rolling Stone, Minnesota. That one I think was like an F1 and it didn't last very long, but then southwest of us a ways in Greenfield, Iowa, they got what I think is an F4 that pretty much eliminated the town. Yeah. Like it just doesn't exist anymore. It was insane.
Yeah, my buddies in Idaho, they got snow. It didn't stick around. It was melted off by like noon 30, something like that. But they legit got snow. Second half of May, they got snow.
I would cry. Just openly weep. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Do not want.
Going over the pass between Montana and Idaho, they had winter storm warnings. Yeah.
Don't like that at all. Not one little bit.
Second half of May, and there's people putting chains on the trucks.
I don't want anything to do with that. I would no. That's why I don't want to live in the mountains because I don't like snow.
Well, that's the thing. Where my friends live in Idaho, they're like 4,000 feet. They're not in the mountains.
Yeah, they should not be getting that much snow.
No, but they got snow in late May. You know what we got? 85 degrees, which is Just not fucking cool.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
Yeah, it is. What the shit? Oh, there it is. I lost the charger to my freaking laptop. There we go. Hey, there I am. Okay, I'm good. I'm good now. Professional.
You're not gonna have your laptop die in the middle of the broadcast.
No, I looked down and I saw the little the battery started blinking. What the shit?
Wouldn't be the first time that things like that have happened.
It's not the first thing things like that happened to me.
Whoops.
So what is up, Chris, my brother? Chris was posting photos of targets that he had some pew pew experience on with different pistols.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to look at those yet.
Yeah. He's left dominant.
Yeah, my problem is that I'm like pistol I'm pretty much fine because I'm not fine, rather. I'm rifle I'm pretty much fine. It's pistol I suck because I'm right eye dominant but left-handed, which means I'm firing my pistol with my left hand, but I really need to be looking down the sights with my right hand. So I got to do some funky shit to make it work. I'd make it work. I'm not bad, but I'm also out of practice.
Yeah. Chris says it was stress relief. You know what else is really good for stress, Chris? Is laughing. Speaking of laughter, LP convention, the Libertarian Party convention is happening right now. Have you been seeing it? Seeing the stuff come out of it?
I have seen. Yeah, the what? First of all, I thought that was a joke.
I did too. I absolutely thought it was just like a troll meme thing going on. Like I thought it was like they were attacking the LP, making jokes, cracking. Oh, Donald Trump's going to show up at the LP, right? No, Donald Trump showed up at the LP and gave a speech.
Dude, just enormous boos.
got booed the entire time, except when he said he would pardon Ross Ulbricht on the first day, which he said last time. And then he also said that he would put a libertarian into his cabinet, which, given what we know about the deep state, means fucking nothing.
Yeah, like, right? Who cares? That's not going to do anything. It's not like people, for the most part, people in the presidential cabinet have that much power anyway.
Yeah. So he stood up there on stage and basically talked shit to them. He stood up there on stage and punked them. He punked the LP and told the people in the crowd, which this was the LP, so there's like 1,000 delegates there. There was 1,000 people, and told them, you can support me and win, or you can lose and get your 3% again, and started laughing. 3% is the highest the LP has ever gotten, and that was under Gary Johnson when it was Trump or Hillary. Yeah. So, but then it gets even better. It gets even better because so that happened. That was last night, and they like the Secret Service came through and confiscated a bunch of signs and like soda bottles and water bottles from people, and rubber chickens were a thing. The Secret Service came through and took the rubber chickens. Okay, all right, whatever that means. And then so he gave his speech, blah blah blah, and then there was some speeches from the people that were up for the LP presidential nomination, including our buddy Joshua Smith, who was actually from my area, lived about a block over. But Josh got voted out on the third ballot. He's not going to be the nominee, and it looks like they're going to have Chase Oliver. Chase Oliver, who supported the COVID regime.
Yep. Sounds about right for the LP.
Who made the argument that going out in public while sick with COVID was a NAP violation. Yeah. Congratulations, Mrs. Caucus, on accomplishing fucking nothing.
They got that landslide amount of power, and then they did absolutely nothing.
Absolutely
with it.
Fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And then they just let it all go immediately because they never bothered to actually like consolidate that power and go, okay, now we need to start getting platforms through. We need to start pushing this. We need to start doing things.
No,
they didn't do any of that, which meant that all of the Democrats that are in the LP were all able to immediately retake power.
They will be. There will be next nomination. I think nomination is next year. They redo the cabinet. I think it's every 3 years they do the cabinet. So I think next year they'll have the committee and all that will be revoted on. But the Mises Caucus came in, right? Spit and fire, and did absolutely nothing. And like, oh well, we got a major nominee to our program, blah 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 blah, and all he did was shit on you and laugh at your face.
Yeah, because he never
all he did.
That's the thing though. This is how politics works, right? Like you cannot change things politically because the only people who will ever actually get ahead politically are people who play that game and are willing to play that game. And if you think that you have allies in politics who, when you think like we do, the reality is you don't. They will pretend right up until you give them power because you're useful. Yes. But the moment that they have power, you're not useful anymore. You're inconvenient, and they will cut ties immediately with everything you stand for because they never actually believed any of that.
Yeah, all I see right now is, again, more proof that the LP is not serious about politics. They're not serious about politics. They're trying to be big fish in their tiny little pond, but they're not serious about politics.
No. And realistically, they never have been. Let's be honest. They never really have
50
been.
50 years now. Right?
Yeah.
They've been around 50 years now. And the most they've ever gotten is 3%. And that was against Trump or Hillary.
And again, this election, right? And we talked about this right before this convention, how all they needed to do was put Josh Smith on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And if they put Josh Smith on the ballot, that there's no way there's absolutely no way that he would lose because look at the alternatives, right? The alternatives are Biden and Trump. And do you think that if you give them a viable alternative who's actually saying liberty-minded things, who's actually talking about actual freedom and embraces actual freedom, do you think that
a firebrand that can go out there and give it, right? Go out there and talk shit, right? And talk people down and espouse these beliefs and views that you're trying to push. And like, he's controversial enough to get attention. He's smart enough to get attention, right? He's consistent enough to like not really have any issues in that department, right? He's not going to get fact checked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what they say, oh no, we're going to have the guy that supported the COVID regime and Chase Oliver.
They did the same thing, though. They did the same thing in 2016 with Gary Johnson because they had better alternatives that they could have picked even then, right? 8 years ago, they had better alternatives.
Yep. And who did they go with? 4 years ago, they had Dry Toast, Jorgensen, and had Spike as the VP.
Yeah, they could have had Spike, and even Spike would have been great.
Oh,
they could have had Smith this time around, but they don't want people who will actually say the message. They don't want to actually win, because if they actually win, then the question is, well, now what do we do with victory?
Yeah.
So instead of, because like, let's be honest, we know that the presidential election is rigged. We know that there's no way they'd win anyway. But what's important is that it would be way harder for them to cheat the system if it's a massive, massive, massive landslide to one specific person who is neither of the majority party candidates.
Well, yeah,
it would be real hard.
If you go back to 12, they had that with Ron Paul. Ron Paul ran as a Republican, and he had all this support. He had all this grassroots support. He was the had the highest amount of donations from the military, all this good stuff. And then they got to the GOP convention, to the Republican National Convention, and they changed the rules. They changed
just
the
so that
rules
he couldn't be there,
so that he couldn't get nominated, right? That's so the only way to get around that is to have your own convention, right? To have your own voice where you don't have to rely on someone else. And the LP had a chance. They had a chance with Josh Smith.
Yeah.
But no,
they did. They had an opportunity, and it's they don't, because so like last time that they had a very real opportunity, they went with who is Aleppo. The next time they went with who the fuck even is that? No one even cares.
Fucking
and
dry toast. I mean, she was so bad.
There was just
so bad.
Jorgensen said absolutely nothing that was even of note, like to the point where we didn't even make fun of her on this show, like we normally would most political candidates, because like, who cares? Like, she is so a non-entity the entire time.
Yes.
And I mean, even to people in the Liberty movement, like more than once, I can remember when I mentioned Joe Jorgensen and people would be like, who? And I'm like, the LP candidate for president. I have no idea who she is or what she stands for at all. But like, you know, I mean, and that's the thing, is if you had gotten Josh Smith in there, you have somebody who is going to be unforgettable when he's on TV, when he gets interviewed. He's going to be somebody that people are going to listen to and they're going to notice. And you have a very real opportunity to get the message out.
He's a military veteran also.
Yeah.
Right. So we also got that going.
Yeah. Like, you have a very real chance of actually getting to the point where you get enough votes that even if you don't win because they steal it away from you,
you get voice out there.
Yeah. Well, and you also might get an official spot at the national debate. Right. So all of a sudden now it's a 3-way debate on television, and you can have him up there spewing actual liberty in response to questions.
Being able to just calling them a war criminal to their face. Oh,
I mean, it would be amazing. Like, this is the thing, though, is like, one, we know deep down, we all know that they would again change rules and alter things and whatever else.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like, too many libertarians have read Larkin Rose's The Iron Web. Right. Like, that's the one where the guy runs as a moderate, blah, 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 blah. But he's secretly an anarchist, and he gets into office and becomes president. And then on the first day, he does an executive order to dissolve the presidency and walks away. Right. Or dissolve the government and walks away. Right. That's as big a pipe dream as the LP ever making it, even sniffing the debates at this point.
Yeah. And and the thing is, you know, and I've told this story in the show before, the entire thing that turned me into an anarchist is when I was looking at running for the Senate as a Republican. And then the moment that I said, that I'm well, the moment that I said, oh, well, you know, I'm generally pretty libertarian ultimately in my beliefs, but you know, I'm a Republican. I got told, never mind, we'll find someone else. I had the president of the Republican Party of Wisconsin look at me and say to my face, you know, you really should have just checked your ideology at the door.
Yep.
And like, that's the kind of stuff that happens. If you actually are a man of principle, you're actually someone who truly believes what you're like, you know, in freedom, and truly believes all that, they will never let you anywhere near power.
No.
Ever.
No. I mean, what's no, like, what is the point in getting power if your premise is to give up power?
Yeah.
Right. That's what that's essentially the LP's platform. Oh, we want to get into government, and we want to do away with this and this and this and that and this. We want to eliminate this position, that position, this position. That's counter to what literally everyone else wants.
Yeah, and government can only do one thing, and that is increase its own power.
Yeah.
Like, the bottom line is, like, everyone's celebrating Argentina's president right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all celebrating that as a big win and blah blah blah. But you think that's going to last?
Yeah.
You think that he's going to get reelected? You think that any of his reforms are going to last?
It's smokescreen. Isn't he on the WEF?
I think he's
young leaders or something like that.
Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, like he's associated with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is controlled opposition, and the reality is, like, okay, yes, it's better than the military junta that up until fairly recently was in charge of Argentina. But the entire reason for the Falklands War, where Britain got its ass handed to it for a little bit, but
that's always nice to hear.
Yeah, it was only temporary though. I mean, it didn't last very long, but they did. There was a few days where they actually got a bloody nose. It was pretty cool. But and that's when everyone learned where the hell the Falklands were, or that they existed, because no one had any idea until that moment.
That's true. Yeah.
Everyone was like, wait, the what? To this day, I mentioned the Falklands War, and people are like, was that like by Ireland or? No,
they have wars in the Southern Hemisphere. What?
Yeah, like those islands are very near the Antarctic Circle, in fact.
So, all right, let's get on to something important. Let's get into a real debate, or not a debate, because I think we pretty much agree on this. But let's get into an issue that truly matters.
Oh God, I know where you're going with this, and it's going to be a debate. It really is.
Yes.
There are strong opinions involved here.
Yes. Indiana judge rules tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches. The ruling stems from a legal battle that started in 2022 when Martin Quintana, a developer, unveiled plans to open his restaurant, quote, the famous Taco Mexican Grill, on a strip mall in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Allen County Planning Commission rejected his bid to open the eatery, citing a written commitment that Quintana had accepted. According to the agreement with the local condo association, only alcohol-free restaurants that did not allow outdoor seating and only sold, quote, made-to-order or Subway-style sandwiches were allowed to open at the location. The agreement was put into place to keep some national fast food chains from opening at the strip mall, according to court documents. But after 2 years of legal battles, Judge Craig Bobway from the Allen County Superior Court ruled Quintana's original plans would be permissible based on the original commitment. In his opinion, Bobway ruled that, quote, famous taco restaurant is permissible under the terms of the original written commitment, and agreeing with Quintana that, quote, tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches, and the original written commitment does not restrict potential restaurants to only American cuisine-style sandwiches. So the judge ruled that tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches.
But are they?
Hold on. We have to quantify. We have to quantify something before we do that. The definition of a sandwich is an item of food consisting of two pieces of bread with meat, cheese, or other filling between them.
See, and this is important.
A light snack. Yes,
this is important. However, I will point out. So you're getting that from the dictionary, right?
That is from Oxford Languages.
Okay. You know what's funny? So, random historical fact with Andrew time.
Okay, hold on. See, Scott already said it. Tortilla is a bread. Yes, tortilla is a bread, but a taco is one piece of bread. A burrito is one piece of bread. A quesadilla is two pieces of bread.
Yeah.
You can have something in between the two pieces of bread. Does this make a club sandwich not a sandwich? Because it's three pieces of bread.
technically the third piece of bread is in between the outer two.
That's
and
true.
Therefore,
Okay.
it's still a sandwich.
Yeah. So the taco,
instance.
a taco is not a sandwich until the shell breaks, because then it becomes two separate pieces.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. And so fun historical fact from Andrew time. Did you know that the very first ever English dictionary just listed words? Not it didn't define them. It just listed them. It's literally just a book that in alphabetical order lists every possible word in the English language that the guy could think of.
A folded piece of bread is a bun. Because it's one piece.
So what if it's a burger that's made with a bun where they didn't slice it all the way through, and so it's still a little bit connected? Is that not a sandwich until you tear that last little bit of bread off?
If it's one piece, if it's connected, then it is not a sandwich, because the sandwich, definite sandwich, is between two pieces.
But actual definitions and legal definitions are frequently different.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, is it legally a sandwich? I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for the guy that he gets to open his restaurant, but because a taco is now apparently legally a sandwich in the United States. However, I'm also questioning why you would want to open a Mexican grill without alcohol.
Yeah,
that just seems wrong in a very major way. Like, food truck, fine, but like, if I'm sitting down there and it's Mexican, like, I assume that you're going to have margaritas. Like, I'm going to be able to get a Modelo, okay, and with my food. Like, I just assume that that's a thing.
Yeah, what's the point in a taco without a Corona or a Modelo or margarita?
I mean, yeah, like, I better be able to get margaritas. Me and Lindsay went to a Mexican place near here the other day, and I gotta say, their margaritas, like, I don't know who taught them how to make frozen margaritas, but they need to teach more people how to make frozen margaritas, because the amount of tequila they put in that, wow.
Steve,
how are you making money on
this? This is the important question. We need Josh Smith and Donald Trump and Joe Biden to have this conversation. We need them to hash it out on stage, whether a taco and a burrito is a sandwich.
Is a taco. But here's the question. Is a burrito is not a sandwich if it's a single tortilla, but what if it's a double wrapped burrito? Because technically there are now two pieces.
Only the part that is between the tortillas. Because that's the definition of a sandwich, is between two pieces.
Right. But so if you're making it and they're overlapping and then you're folding it over, technically there is a bunch that is in between two tortillas and they're not connected. So at that point,
that has to be a big ass burrito or really small tortillas.
They're actually, it's the place that I'm thinking of that makes them around here is literally called BA Burrito.
Yeah.
So they're like 1.5 pound burritos. They are absolutely glorious. They have a Thanksgiving burrito of the month.
I bet they serve Modelo there also.
No, actually, they don't serve alcohol there.
Why?
Because they're only burritos. No other Mexican food at all, just burritos. But the burritos are a meal unto themselves because, again, it's like 1.5 pound of filling in this thing. It is ridiculous. But like, you know how everyone complains about Chipotle portion sizes? How they give you just like 4 grains of rice. BA is was, as Buckshot just pointed out, it actually closed. But BA was like, it was just massive, like American sized portions of everything going into this thing, which is why they needed to double wrap it. It was just enormous, and it was so good. It was so good. My late 20s were full of many BA burritos. Many BA burritos.
Yes.
But
no.
I mean, in that instance, though, I think a burrito becomes a sandwich because there are 2 tortillas involved. They're separate. So still a sandwich. But I don't think a hard shell taco or a single wrapped soft shell taco can be considered an actual sandwich.
Not unless the shell breaks or the tortilla rips.
Yeah, at that point it becomes a sandwich.
Then it becomes a sandwich because it's 2 pieces.
Wait, what are we, the food ATF? How are we?
Yes.
That our definition of the same thing changes because of the tiniest little cosmetic difference?
Yes.
Although it's not really a cosmetic difference, it is a functional difference, because if the bottom of that taco is intact, stuff isn't going to fall out. But if it breaks, it's going to fall out.
Yes. And then you break up the shell and you have nachos.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. See, the trick is you eat your taco over a bowl of nachos so that you get to have a taco. Just not a shell. Yeah. Yeah. And then you get to have it. And then you also get to have nachos immediately after. Yeah. The Buckshot defined BA burrito pretty well. It was burritos the size of a grown man's forearm. That they were legitimately that size. It was a lovely thing.
Andrew spent a lot of his 20s chewing on things the size of a man's forearm.
You know what?
He was in the Army. It's okay.
That would be something somebody in the Navy might get involved in, but man, we don't play for that team, all right?
Oh goodness. Okay. I just had to bring that up because I thought it was funny. Ooh, another funny. While we're talking about stupid things and stupidness. Biden campaign to hire meme manager as president struggles for support from young voters.
I have bad news for you. The left can't meme.
The Biden campaign is aiming to speak the language of youth by hiring someone to manage its content and meme pages as the president's re-election campaign struggles to connect with Gen Z voters.
Can I just point out that a man old enough to have actively supported actual Jim Crow laws
did support Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, he supported Jim Crow laws. This man is now looking to speak the language of youth.
Yes. In a job posting on Daybook, the campaign is looking to hire a partner to manage the campaign's internet content, including memes. Memes have played a big part in how presidential candidates have tried to get the word out about their campaigns. The Biden campaign has lovingly adopted Dark Brandon, a meme that portrays the alter ego of President Biden that was created after a reporter misheard chants of "fuck you, Joe Biden" as "let's go, Brandon." She was interviewing the race winner Brandon Brown at Talladega Racetrack for Xfinity Series in 2021. They've adopted Dark Brandon as their meme of choice.
So it's they have adopted something that is meant to imply that he is an evil overlord that must be stopped.
Fuck it, we'll run with it.
And they're like, yeah, that's surely what the children want. Obviously, the dark overlord with lasers shooting out of his eyeballs.
Look, they love me.
Could it be that I am out of touch? No, surely it is the children who are wrong.
What started as a way for Biden haters to criticize the president eventually led to the campaign leaning into the meme and embracing it. The profile picture for the Biden-Harris HQ page on X is the Dark Brandon picture, which shows Mr. Biden with red lasers shooting out of his eyes. More recently, Mr. Biden posted the Dark Brandon image after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. It was meant as a joke about a conspiracy theory that he would rig the contest for the Chiefs to win, which would lead to a Biden endorsement from pop star Taylor Swift, who is dating Chiefs player Travis Kelce. Yes. That is where we are.
The thing is that the left can't meme, right? Like they're what's happening is they keep trying to to figure out how to meme, and it just keeps getting more cringe as time goes on. As we scripted it, like,
hey, I know some people in the LP that'll be out of a job soon. They'll come work for Biden.
Oh yeah, they'll happily go make memes for the Biden admin. Let's be honest, like 3/4 of the LP would.
Yep. I miss the good old days of Facebook when you could post a meme and not have it removed after 30 seconds.
I mean, you still can on X.
Yeah, that's true. They allow child porn on X. No. You got to be careful. You know where you have to be careful posting memes? On Signal. Did you read that about Signal?
I did not read that about Signal. Let's talk about Signal.
Ooh, this is a good one because for a long time, right, the boys of the particular B word that we're not supposed to say,
of a certain Hawaiian shirt persuasion,
the Hibiscus Society, that's where they were organizing. That's where they were organizing was on Signal. And supposedly secure messaging app Signal launched with government funds, headed by propagandists now running NPR.
Gosh, I can't. But Signal's so secure, I can't figure out how they caught us all.
I can't figure out how they caught us using the app that we downloaded off the Google Play Store on our commercially built phones.
Yeah. Did you see, speaking of which, did you see that Elon Musk is suggesting he's going to come out with an X phone?
That would be interesting.
The end user license agreement, according to Musk anyway, in his post, was very specifically supposed to be that all of your data belongs to you. None of it will be collected for marketing or any other purposes whatsoever. And it will not allow any unencrypted messaging apps whatsoever that allow any kind of backdoors at all.
Nice. With over 100 million users, the encrypted messaging service app Signal is touted as private and secure. However, a new report reveals the app was allegedly not only launched with government funds, but is headed by National Public Radio's CEO, Catherine Maurer. Christopher Rufo, a conservative activist and senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute for Policy Research, released a piece Monday about the alleged connection between the U.S. government, Maurer, and Signal. The platform, which prides itself on privacy for users, has been endorsed by notable figures including NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden, Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk, and former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey.
What a surprise.
Signal's technological foundation, however, was originally funded in part by government resources, Rufo claims. The technology used in the Facebook messaging app WhatsApp for the platform, which also ran as a non-profit foundation, reportedly received a $3 million grant awarded by the government agency Open Technology Fund somewhere between 2013 and 2016. While the OFT, again, that is the Open Technology Fund, is reportedly a spinoff of a government-funded private news service, Radio Free Asia. The Technology Fund claims their goal is to, quote, advance internet freedom in repressive environments by supporting the research, development, implementation, and maintenance of technologies that counter censorship and combat repressive surveillance to enable all citizens to exercise their fundamental human rights online, according to the site.
As long as they're doing it in other countries and not in the United States.
Yes, because that's totally how it's gonna work on your commercially available phone with the app you downloaded from the Google Play Store.
I mean, I use Signal every day because there are groups on there for like my whiskey club and things that's what we have. I would never use it for anything else. And even back during the luau days, okay, even during the height of the luau days, like I would see these guys posting stuff in there where I'm like, you do understand, right? You do understand that this is not secure. Even if it was
encrypted.
Yeah, even if it was end-to-end encrypted, all it takes is a single person in this group who is a Fed, right? Who is a Fed to simply screen record everything that's coming in.
Yeah, not only that, but Google Play Store. Read the TOS of the Google Play Store apps.
Yeah, you can't like like Chris just pointed out in the chat, you can't even get the uncensored version of Telegram from the App Store. Okay, like I don't have my versions of Telegram from the App Store. My versions of Telegram are downloaded directly from them because it's the only way. Yeah, it's the only way to get it uncensored and encrypted in a way that is at least vaguely kind of sort of secure.
And even then, we're still not going to talk about certain things.
Yeah, you're still not going to say certain things on there because, like, the reality is it's not fully secure. Nothing ever is.
You mean your commercially available phone isn't private?
And here's the thing. See, and that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Is even if you have a peer-to-peer encrypted messaging service, your keyboard is not a peer-to-peer encrypted messaging service and can in fact monitor
neither is your phone network. Neither is your phone network. Neither is your Wi-Fi. Just saying.
That is why you go on Amazon, that you can buy them on Amazon right now, and you can go buy right now Faraday bags.
Yes. And
if you're going to talk hood rat shit, you're going to put it in your phones in a Faraday bag.
Mm-hmm. Burner phones with no cameras. Faraday bags.
Yeah. Like that's what you're going to need, because anything else is going to get monitored. You can't have any cameras. And you can't have. For
fuck's sake, don't buy the fucking phones with a credit card or a debit card.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, if you can, see, and that's the reality. Like, if you can buy even the black phones, right? The black phones were a pretty good idea. Mm-hmm. But the issue with the black phones was they only work if everyone who's involved in your little messaging conversation also has a black phone.
Yes.
If they don't, then it doesn't work. And as soon as the major carriers that they were supposed to run on figured out that they actually couldn't monitor what was going on between the phones, they stopped allowing them.
Yeah. Okay. Awards from the OTF. Again, the OTF is the Open Technology Fund. Awards from the OTF to technology platforms are not uncommon. A 2020 VOA report shows that the government agency awarded millions to others in addition to the OTF. The connection between OTF and Signal, though, is allegedly deeper than just the grant. An anonymous source who, quote, worked extensively with OTF claimed that Rufo that, over time, it appeared, quote, the project was actually a State Department connected initiative that planned to wield open source internet projects made by hacker communities as tools for American foreign policy goals. The initiative allegedly empowered, quote, activists and parties opposed to governments that the USA doesn't like.
Yeah. And that's exactly it, right? It's
yes.
The entire thing, they knew going into that, they knew that it was potentially going to empower people that they were not fans of.
Yes.
Right. Which means that there is no way, you have to be the most naive person on the planet to think that knowing that the United States government gave millions of dollars to a developer to develop a thing that potentially could be used by people they didn't like, and they wouldn't be able to monitor it themselves.
Boy, if you believe that using Signal is actually encrypted, who do I have a governor that we need to kidnap? I'm just saying. Woo, man.
Oh, somebody call Captain Autism.
Oh goodness. God. Yeah, that was just. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, the people put too much trust in these things, right? Just the older generation, right? My generation, like we grew up as computers were coming up. Like I grew up without computers. The first time ever using a computer was a typing class in like 6th grade. Right. So this is like 1990. Like I didn't have computers in the classrooms until I went to college. Right. So I didn't grow up surrounded by computers. I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 25. But the newer generations that are coming up, my kids' generations and the newer generations now, they grew up entirely surrounded by phones and electronics and a fucking Alexa and Echo and
hey, wiretap, can you order me toilet paper?
I just like, and they're too comfortable with these items. They're too trusting with these items. These items are an ingrained part of their lives. And it just makes it too damn easy for nefarious actors, governments, hackers, NGOs, whatever, to get at people, to bust people.
Think about how fucking dystopian this is too. Like they don't even buy books, right? They don't buy printed books. They get them on like the Amazon. What's the Amazon
Kindle.
one called?
Kindle.
Yeah, on the Kindle and stuff, right? They get them on that. Here's the thing: is like there are documented cases, several recently, of books being edited to take out problematic parts.
Yes.
And without your permission, those books were updated on your devices to remove sections that they considered problematic.
Like definitions of words changing over time.
Yeah.
Right.
They simply remove it. It's miniature, right? Like that's what's going on. If you have all of your books in electronic form, they can just edit all of that knowledge without you being able to stop them.
Too connected. Yes, Chris, absolutely. Chris says the government could turn your ISP supplied wireless router into a way to track you in your house based on signal obstruction as it passes through your body. Yes, we talked about that before. We talked about Wi-Fi routers creating 3D models based on signal strength and bounce back and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because it's just radar.
Yeah, and Roomba's creating layouts of your house and sending it to the company.
Yeah. Not only that, but I mean, and here's the thing, right? Is 20 years ago, about 20 years ago, they could already shine a laser on a light bulb or a window pane in a room and use the vibrations of the glass to hear everything going on inside that room.
Yes.
That was 20 years ago that technology existed.
Yes.
So what do you think they're capable of now that they have hot mics and cameras and Wi-Fi routers covering your house in radar?
Yeah, that's right. We just need to join the LP and vote for Donald Trump. He's going to put a libertarian on his cabinet. Then everything will be fine.
Here's the fun part though. I was looking at the article. In addition to the implications of Signal's background, the company's current chairman of the board is Mayor, according to Rufo and her NPR bio. One of the NPR CEO's digital communications positions was working as an information and communications technology program officer for the National Democratic Institute. The institute claims it works, quote, around the world to strengthen and safeguard democratic institutions, processes, norms, and values to secure a better quality of life for all by partnering with the American foreign policy campaigns. Mayer was allegedly recruited for her position with Signal by the foundation's current president, Meredith Whitaker, due to their mutual connection to OTF. Merritt reportedly serves as an advisor to OTF, as well as another nonprofit, Access Now, which focuses on digital rights of people and communities at risk, according to their website.
Yes.
And don't forget that Mayor is the one that got accused of making sure that NPR had a massive bias against
Trump
in the last election.
Yeah, the smart meters. There's another one. Yeah. Buckshot
Smart meters. Yeah, there's smart meters. There's remember we did that story about the smart thermostats where the power company just turned everybody's AC down?
In Texas, yeah. No. And it's just like another thing with like Siri and Echo and all these other programs, like once you say their name, they'll respond to you. Right? But they have to be listening the entire time.
Yep.
I mean, just think about that. The government has listened to you masturbate.
I hope so.
Either through your phone, through Echo, through whatever. It just.
I specifically like some people. They try to cover their webcams. If I'm gonna jacket watching stuff on my computer, I make sure that webcam is aimed very specifically, because you're gonna have to sit here, NSA guy, and you are going to have to watch this whole thing. And I'm gonna say the words like bomb and president and airplane repeatedly throughout the entire thing, so that you have to sit there and watch the whole thing.
That meme, right? You put you put bomb plans, right? You write bomb plans on a CD, and it's just 6 hours of you stirring mayonnaise sounds.
Enjoy.
Enjoy, yes.
Like, but that's what you got to do, man. You got to make these guys like lose their minds where they don't want to be the ones to monitor that anymore.
Yes. Oh,
Buckshot. Don't break that. That's expensive.
Yeah. Oh.
Just like, no, you just aim the camera and you're just like, you're going to watch this whole thing. Make sure your microphone is angled correctly so they get all of the sound. Yeah. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And you make sure that they have to sit there and they have to watch the whole thing.
just 6 hours of stirring mayonnaise sounds.
In fact, I highly recommend taking your laptop into the bathroom with you when you're exceptionally constipated. Like, just aim that camera right at that. No, you're gonna watch my face this whole time and listen.
We need audio of like Nancy Pelosi moaning.
No, we don't. That does not ever need to exist.
And just cycle it for 6 hours and put Christopher Danielson's confession.
They just got to sit there and listen to the whole thing.
Like, God! Just 6 hours of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi moaning and stirring mayonnaise sounds. Oh, Paul.
Oh, no, he's not it. That she plays for the wrong team. For him.
Oh, Hillary. Oh, gross. All right, I disgusted myself.
Yeah, I'm sitting here actively suppressing a gag. I'm not gonna
lie. I ruined the mood. Okay, where do you want to go? That's all serious from this point forward, kind of. Ooh. No. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, we have to. Okay, we're gonna go to the hidden article.
Okay.
The one that I did not send you. Okay. Illinois lawmakers are pushing to change the term offender to justice impacted individual when discussing those convicted of a crime in an ongoing effort to update language in state law.
Sorry. We care about their feelings now?
Illinois lawmakers are pushing to change the term offender to, quote, justice impacted individual when discussing those convicted of a crime in an ongoing effort to update language in state law.
You know, in the 1960s, actually it was like the 1950s, the first ever true murder investigation in the history of the Soviet Union began because they did not allow for murder, quote, there is no murder in paradise, end quote, to quote Stalin. It was unauthorized killings.
Yes.
Still fucking murder.
Yes. During a Wednesday hearing, Republican State Senator Terry Bryant criticized the proposed change, pointing to the amount of taxpayer money spent when government agencies have to alter language, blah, blah, blah. Quote, over and over again, we keep changing the name of how we are referring to those who have entered into criminal activity. And each time we make the change, each agency has to make the change on every one of the documents. Right now in the Department of Corrections, there's multiple changes that have been made, and it's costing thousands and thousands of dollars just to do a name change. Why is it necessary to make the name change again? Yes, they want to.
We've had a word that works really well for people who have entered into criminal activity. You know what we call them? Criminals.
Yes. The lawmaker also brought up the case of the man who killed 11-year-old Jaden Perkins a day after his release, and the perpetrator and said the perpetrator was not a, quote, justice impacted individual, but an offender. On the other side of the debate, Democratic State Senator Robert Peters supported the name change, saying they are, quote, adding the DOC, adding Human Services, Stegman, and Cook County Adult Probation, and 2 members who have experienced ARI system as offenders or as justice impacted individuals, whatever the hell that means. Peters also insisted the language plays a critical role in the rehabilitation outcomes, arguing that the terminology, quote, means someone who has been impacted by the criminal justice system is an individual.
If you have diddled kids, I don't give a fuck about your rights, and I don't give a fuck about your self-esteem, and I don't give a fuck about rehabilitation. I think that you should not be breathing anymore. So I could not care less.
It's just like, okay. If you're stealing a loaf of bread to feed your kids, okay, justice impacted individual. I can understand that, right? You technically committed a crime. Yes. If you're stealing $7,000 worth of purses, you're an offender. I'm sorry, you're a criminal. Fuck off.
The settlers of early Australia were simply transportation impacted individuals.
Yeah, it wasn't the Trail of Tears. It was the March impacted individuals.
Yeah, they're. No, it's not the Bataan Death March. Oh. It is simply Bataan relocation impacted individual. Somebody go rewrite Bridges Over the River Kwai.
No. They were locked up for their own good.
Like this is the same crap, right? Like, and back in the 90s, we had these arguments, right, about how the left was constantly trying to give criminals more and more and more rights and give victims fewer and fewer and fewer rights.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't even want to say they were convicted by a trial of their peers.
Yes.
It's their justice system impacted individuals. Think about how murky that definition is. Technically, the families of people who were victims of crimes have been impacted by the justice system. The families of people who are convicted of crimes are justice system impacted individuals.
Mm-hmm. You know, they should go complain about it on Signal.
The government will certainly hear their complaints. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, this is that whole thing, right? Like, when we talk about a culture war and we talk about how, like, the propaganda and the power of propaganda, and like that's what this is. This is deliberate manipulation of language, because language is tied very, very heavily to how you think about things.
Yeah.
Very heavily. I've brought it up before on the show, but you know, I mean, we've gotten a lot of new listeners. Weirdly, I don't know why how that happens, but since then,
thank you, Rich.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, Tara Lynn definitely helped us out there, but they did a study years ago about how language can impact the way you think about things, and what they found is that Aborigines in Australia, they have an incredible sense of direction. Absolutely incredible. Like, you can literally put them in tunnels underground and they can find their way just inherently. And the question is, well, how the hell can they do that? And part of the reason for that, they figured out, is that in Aborigine, you don't have words for in front of or behind or left or right. You describe things as north or south of or east of or west of. And so in order to know how to describe a thing, you have to know your directions your cardinal directions at all times, which inherently makes you much more aware and conscious of navigation. So if you manipulate language to eliminate things like a negative connotation towards people who have been convicted of a crime, regardless of that crime, you are inherently making people think less negatively about the people who committed that crime. Like, if you remove that language. So, like, that's what this is. This is more of that propaganda where they're intentionally manipulating language and altering language. And you know that the left loves to have just complete language that obfuscates everything, including its own meaning, because that way nothing has meaning. There's no definitions for anything. Nothing means anything, and unless they feel that it should in that particular moment.
Yeah, like we talked about before, I don't know, 2 years ago, when Merriam-Webster updated the definition of vaccination or vaccine. Right? They updated it to mean, you know, it prevents, right, or doesn't prevent, or one or the other. But you know, the language thing, like you mentioned, the Aborigines here in the United States with the Native Americans, right? With the westward expansion and the creation of the reservation systems. One of the first things that they did was take the kids and put them in English schools, and then forbid them for speaking their native languages. Right, because when you change a language, right, when you destroy a language, you destroy the culture.
They did the same thing with the Irish, right? Like they started forbidding the speaking of Gaelic in public, so that we started losing our culture, because there are concepts that only exist in Gaelic that we can't say in English. And so by taking that away, you take away identity, you take away certain belief systems inherently.
Well, yeah, it's there's one of the concepts that comes out of 1984, the book 1984, is that the idea of language changes so dramatically. The culture changes so dramatically when you change the language, and then it starts to affect people to the point where they won't even think certain things in their own heads for fear of saying them out loud.
Yeah,
right?
That's
why the left attacks all the time. Oh, that's racist, that's sexist, that's bigoted, that's transphobic, blah 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 blah. Right? Whenever anything you say disagrees with them, they attack you. Right? And
you remember when they were labeling absolutely everything racist, whether it had anything to do with a race or not?
Yes.
Where they'd just be like, "That's racist against people who don't like something like that." Like somehow that made it a race. Like I remember that, and then we made fun of them.
Yeah, left-handed, red-headed midgets. Yes.
Yeah, and like I remember when that happened, and so that's why they've now come up with, and they seek to find 3 trillion separate labels. Like if you were to ask me just generically, what am I? Oh, I'm a straight white Judeo-Christian male.
Oh,
Done. That I've described myself, right? That's kind of all you need. And I've described myself. But if you ask a leftist what they are, oh, I'm a cisgendered demisexual, then the list goes on and 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 on. And it'll take them 10.5 minutes to come up with every single tiny little individual term for them to say. They're going to come up with all of that shit to describe themselves because they understand fully the importance of language. And so they're making sure with all of those tiny little individual labels that there isn't room for misunderstanding of exactly what they are in their opinion, right? Whereas we tend to, most people tend to just give you kind of very generic things. Well, because they demonstrate that they understand the importance of language every time somebody in government, especially a very leftist government, starts to come up with these phrases that alter language, you can be absolutely certain that they fully and completely understand what they're doing. And there is a very specific goal there. And that goal is to alter your entire concept of the thing that they're changing.
So what Captain Segway is saying, a new bill at the Ohio State House aims to create new gun safety laws, but some worry the language is too broad and will strip away Second Amendment rights.
They're saying the quiet parts out loud here.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Quote, they're going to fight it tooth and nail, but we still want to advocate our support for gun safety measure. That's from Mom Demands Action advocate Michelle Lee Hyam.
Also known as the Mad Cows.
Yes. Representative Josh Williams, Republican out of Sylvania, says, quote, I believe any law you need to introduce has to pass constitutional muster, and this type of law will not. It's 100% unconstitutional. Okay. Here. Okay.
I have to center myself before I read this paragraph. Like I've read it and
yes.
I have to.
Yes.
Oh,
how? So this is part of the changing the language. House Bill 433 or House Bill 433, sponsored by Representative Willis Blackshear, Democrat out of Dayton. Dayton shouldn't exist. Prohibits
Ohio doesn't really exist. Let's be honest.
Prohibits person from knowingly acquiring, having, carrying, or using any mass casualty weapon. Prohibits a person from knowingly acquiring, having, carrying, or using any mass casualty weapon.
Mass casualty weapon, which sounds an awful lot like a weapon of mass destruction, like the things that Saddam Hussein definitely totally had.
Yes. In the bill, a mass casualty weapon is defined as any semi-automatic firearm designed or specifically adapted to fire more than 31 cartridges without reloading, other than a firearm chambering only 22 short, long, or long rifle cartridges.
Now, strictly speaking, I would point out that without reloading, well, every time that action runs, it's reloading. So unless you have 31 barrels.
Yes. In the bill, a mass casualty weapon is defined as, quote, any semi-automatic firearm designed or specifically adapted to fire more than 31 cartridges without reloading.
He means without a magazine change. And it's really poorly defined, actually. And this strictly
point.
Yes. Well, strictly speaking, even if in some fantasy world this would pass, and it's obviously not going to, right? Like we know that. But even in that world, as soon as this goes to court, it says without reloading.
Yes.
Every time I fire my gun, it has to reload.
Yes.
Therefore, this bans absolutely nothing. Unless, again, you have a 31 barreled gun that can fire all 31 barrels simultaneously because it is reloading every time.
Tally ho.
So yeah, so like that's the thing though, is like you're talking about volley guns, right? And if you've ever seen a volley gun, man, are they cool and terrifying simultaneously. It's a gun that's designed to chain fire, fun fact. But anyway, the definition of reloading would have, that is a ejecting a spent cartridge and loading a new cartridge, right? Placing a new cartridge in the chamber in a ready to fire position. That's reloading. So therefore, when they say, because we use loading interchangeably, right? Like we say that a weapon is loaded if there is a cartridge in it, and you are loading if there is you're reloading a magazine. So, I mean, realistically, this would actually be a do nothing bill, even if it were to pass, because as soon as it goes to court, everyone goes, but the loading means that it's putting a new round in the chamber, and I don't know of a single weapon currently in use that fires 31 rounds without reloading.
Yeah, other than the 22, so it would ban like the 17 HMR.
Yeah, its intent is to ban all semi-automatic weapons.
Yes. Blah, blah, blah. It is so broad a definition that it will encompass every single semi-automatic gun known to man other than the very small 22 rifle caliber, Williams said. Quote, you're not going to be able to ban every single gun that Ohioans possess. I think it is going to pass constitutional challenge. Ohio law used to ban guns with a magazine of more than 30 rounds. The ban was reversed nearly 10 years ago in 2015.
In court, by the way.
Yeah. In his testimony for the bill, Blackshirt writes, quote, we simply want to go back to the common sense regulation Ohio had in place before 2015.
See, now that's the language, right? That they use all the time. Speaking of language and how important it is.
Yes.
Common sense gun regulation.
That's what he says. He says, quote, get those mass casualty weapons off the streets. It not only incites fear, but it's not necessary. They're weapons for the battlefield.
First of all, weapons for the battlefield are entirely the point of the Second Amendment. Get wrecked.
Not only that, but what army uses semi-automatic firearms?
Quite a few, actually. But
does the U.S. use semi-automatic firearms?
Yeah, you rarely, if ever, actually put an M4 into full auto.
Yeah.
Like full auto is for suppressive fire. Like it's never really used unless it's in a machine gun, in which case it's for beat and zone, which is still suppressive fire, right? Still indirect and suppressive, but the majority of weapons that you're ever going to fire are in fact semi-automatic.
Are in semi-auto?
Yeah, they're flipped into semi-auto. Now they're capable of full auto.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes.
Unless you had a FAL and the right arm of the free world, and only the most insane motherfuckers ever bothered with a FAL in full auto, because that is a 308 full powered rifle cartridge without much in the way of recoil mitigation in full auto. Good luck hitting anything. I mean, you'll send enough lead downrange, you may statistically hit something, but chances are, between the muzzle flash, the report, and the fact that your eyeballs are jiggling in your skull, you're not exactly going to be a tack driver with it.
I'm waiting for the full auto 8.6.
I actually once watched somebody stand up and fire fairly rapidly an M82.
Ouch.
Like the guy stood up, shouldered it, and went boom, 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 boom. Now, keep in mind, the only way he was able to do that is because he was about fucking 370 pounds of just solid muscle. He was a refrigerator that happened to breathe. This guy.
Nice.
But like, he did it. I watched him do it. I also watched him carry a man portable M1919.
Oh,
and just bum, 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 hip fire. The dude was a beast. I'm pretty sure he couldn't actually reach back to wipe his own ass, but boy, you put a gun in that man's hand and it's a fucking toy. Like he was like 6'6", like just gigantic. And he's like, this is nothing.
Who do you want me to kill?
Yeah, like
full auto 458 SOCOM. Yes, Daddy.
That one, that would be neat. Two, that would also be wildly uncontrollable. And three, your range would be crap.
Yes.
Because 458 SOCOM is not a long range round. It was never designed to be. That is not what that's for. But I mean, it would be scary. I would not want to be on the receiving end of a burst of full auto 458 SOCOM.
You know, it's funny because Hoplite Armor, they have a doormat now that says, "I hope those are level 4 plates."
I want one. Have you seen that video from that Ring doorbell where the cops walk up to that guy's door and he has to come back with a warrant and they knock on the door and the guy's like, and the guy yells back, doormat. And they look down, they go, ha, cute. And he just refuses to even answer the door.
Yes. as it should be. But full auto 458 SOCOM or 50 Bale Wolf. That would be interesting.
Spicy.
Yes.
Wow, that's spicy.
Did Grantham have the full auto 8.6? I don't know if he had the full auto 8.6. I know he had.
I think I saw one.
I know he had the semi, or he had a bolt action 8.6 that he was shooting at the dummy and turned the skull into a canoe.
I could see a 3-round burst 8.6 or 458 SOCOM without too much of an issue, because realistically 3-round burst is just increased hit probability and you want it to spread a little bit, same as a machine gun with a beaten zone.
Oh, that's what they tell you, right? 2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
Well, yeah, you're not doing that with a 3-round burst, but yeah, I mean,
you will if it kicks that hard.
Well, by sheer luck, you might. I mean, you know, like I can't even my 300 blackout I could see being full auto without too much of a problem, but it would still be a lot.
Yeah. What's the new one? I just saw one that was 300 blackout. Some company just released a blackout, and it's a 7.5-inch barrel.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, that's not even a gun anymore. That's a flamethrower that happens to have a physical projectile that comes out. That's what that is.
It's so bad. Why do they do this?
That at that point, that's like the Obrett's. If you've never fired an Obrett's, first off, if you've never fired an Obrett's, don't.
Yeah.
Your hearing is worth more than that, I assure you. But second of all, when you fire an Obrett's, if you fire one, the entire world goes white and kind of ceases to exist for a split second, because it's just this massive flash and bang. The thing tries to flip out of your hand instantaneously. It is just horrific. And you're like, okay, yeah, all right. And you know that whoever was standing in front of you that you were going to fire that at, that they're now on fire.
Yep. And those, by the way, would still be legal under this Ohio bill. So
I mean, yeah, because they're a bolt action gun.
They're bolt action, yes.
And they're less than 31 rounds. Also, the thing is capable of firing 31 rounds. So that's just saying, like, and here's what's important about that, and why, like, some people might go, oh, but what about pistols?
I'll pray for you, Buckshot.
Here's the thing, though, is like you might look at that and you might go, okay, well, but pistols only fire, you know, they have like 18 round magazines, things like that. Except that you can get a magazine because it is a removable magazine. A magazine could be built that could hold 32 rounds. And the reality is, like, that's what this is aimed at. Now, again, I pointed out already the hole in it, which is it says without reloading, and it's not defining the act of reloading. And technically a self-loading rifle is reloading every time it fires. Therefore, without 31 barrels, it actually doesn't fit this definition. But assuming the definition that they mean, which is without changing magazines, every semi-automatic weapon with a removable box magazine is banned under this bill.
Yes.
All of them. And remember when they said no one's coming for your guns. We don't want to come for your guns. We just want
common sense gun control.
Yeah. This bans every semi-automatic weapon, which is basically that's box fed, which is almost every single weapon that has been developed in the past 100 years in the United States.
Yes.
Almost all of them.
They'd even ban your grandpa's 1911.
You know what's ridiculous? This bans the Schnellfeuer. Now, granted, the Schnellfeuer is also full auto, but the C96 that used a box mag, because technically you could construct a box mag for that gun, which would hold 32 rounds. So a gun built in 1896 is called a mass casualty weapon under this law, and then therefore banned.
Yep. I have to attend the what is it? The Big Luau, the ice cream social. Attend the ice cream social with Nagats.
With Mosins. With Obretzes. Just do it with Obretzes. We're just gonna
just double dual wielding Obretz.
Oh god, it's so bad. It is just the worst experience firing a weapon you will literally ever have.
Oh, that's what we could have Obretz and 4570 Derringers. Yeah.
That is a supremely awful idea.
I know, right?
You wouldn't, the thing is with a 4570 Derringer, you wouldn't even actually just be throwing a fireball. You would also be actually impregnating the skin of the person you're shooting at with bits of just gunpowder.
Just powder.
Because there's no way it's all going to burn.
Yeah, Scott has one. Kentucky Ballistics. He has a couple videos on one.
It's just the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. Like, oh my God. I want one. Preferably gold plated.
2 dual wield,
a gold plated one and then a silver plated one, both with mother of pearl handles, preferably with an image of the Holy Mother carved into them.
There you go.
Maybe some garnets.
There you go. I just when you see us on the news, just Andrew's the one in the eagle mask, dual wielding the 454 Casuls.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
And welding goggles to protect your eyes.
A ballistic mask underneath the eagle mask. Level 4 plates. Tidy whiteys.
Work with a boots streak.
Yeah, work boots.
Romeo's. Not even work boots. Romeo's.
Oh, God.
Hillbilly slippers. There you go.
Just like, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said about psychological warfare and
train how you fight, right?
That's why I always chug mead before I go out to the range. Train how you fight.
That's why you got to do wheel so you can aim at both of them.
Yeah. Remember, if there are 3 of them, you only have to aim for the one in the middle.
Yes.
And you're going to get them.
Yes. If there's 2 of them, you're not drunk enough.
If there's 5, yeah, you may have overdone it. It's Godspeed.
Godspeed, yes.
Hopefully you have a pair of coins in your pocket because those are going to have to be put on your eyes.
In his testimony, Blackshear argued that the guns with large magazines make it easier for events like the 2019 mass shooting in Dayton. He said the intent of the bill is to, quote, prevent large custom magazines being added to guns to increase the killing capacity of those weapons.
Have you ever attempted to wield an AR with a D60 on it?
It is uncomfortable.
It is heavy. It is noticeably heavy.
I may or may not have experience with a Betamax.
It's or worse yet, you decided you wanted a Surefire quad stack.
Yeah.
Good luck loading those, by the way.
Yeah. A quote: if we want to amend the Second Amendment, they need to go to the federal legislature and get the ball rolling to amend the Constitution that will make these types of laws legal.
The day that they attempt to actually amend the Second Amendment is the day things get very, very entertaining.
Yeah. Yes.
But remember, as we know from New York, they don't need to amend the Second Amendment. They can just have judges declare the Second Amendment doesn't exist in my courtroom.
Yeah, and in 2016, the majority of gun crimes that were committed in Ohio were done with semi-automatic pistols, not rifles, AR-15s, AK-47s. 90% of the gun crimes that resulted in the loss of life were handguns, and 90% of them were someone who had one in unlawful possession.
Oh boy, but more laws are surely going to help with all of the already illegal firearms.
That's what it is. We just need to ban mass casualty guns.
I'm just picturing that scene from Super Troopers. The pull over. He's already pulled over, man. He can't pull over anymore. We need to make it. We make these guns illegal. They're already illegal. We can't make them illegal anymore.
Oh, you boys like Mexico?
Yeah.
You
boys like Mexico. But I mean, like that's the whole thing, though, right? Like these guns are constantly. We talk about this where these firearms are already illegal. Murdering people is already.
You know what happened?
Illegal.
You know what? These people, that the gun control advocates, they just need to join the Libertarian Party so that they can vote for Trump, because Trump said, "Take the guns first, due process second."
He did. He also said that he didn't like silencers.
So there you go. That's what you need to do. You just need to join the Libertarian Party so that you guys can vote for Trump.
I think the funniest thing, as somebody who is exceedingly familiar with European gun laws, I think it is hilarious whenever I see any of these anti-gun, any of these hoplophobes online go, why would you even need a suppressor? And I'm like, you understand that only the United States, literally only the United States, cares about suppressors.
Yes.
That no one else cares about suppressors. None of them are worried.
They're hearing protection.
Yeah, because they're hearing protection. They're so that gun ranges don't annoy the living shit out of their neighbors constantly.
Yes.
Only the United States cares, and the only reason it cares is because during the debate for the original NFA, they were worried about communist assassins. That's the same reason why only the United States cares about short-barreled rifles and short-barreled shotguns, because they were worried about communist assassins who might be carrying them. You know, the thing that literally never existed in the United States.
Now the communists are in charge.
And they're still worrying about it because now they're worried about ultra-conservative assassins.
And people who like hibiscus flowers.
Yeah.
And use Signal.
Yeah. And use Signal because...
Yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, this is... God, you're going to make us talk about Uvalde next, aren't you?
Yes.
And I really... You
want to skip it?
God, it infuriates me.
We'll do a quick one on it. We'll do a quick one. Exactly 2 years after the Uvalde school massacre, families of victims Friday filed multiple state lawsuits in California and Texas against social media giant Meta, Activision, the maker of the popular video game Call of Duty, and Daniel Defense, the manufacturer of the AR-15, which the teen gunman used in the shooting. The wrongful death lawsuit comes.
We gotta run through that list again here. Just process this list. Here's the people that have. Remember, Uvalde, right, is where the cops refused to go in.
Yes.
As people were being shot, and then tried to hold back parents who were like, "Fuck you! If you're not going to do anything, I am."
Yes.
And went in. Okay. That's what was going on. Is the cops refused to do anything and just stood there and watched children die.
Yes.
And they are suing Meta, Activision because of Call of Duty, Daniel Defense over this.
Yes. Okay. The wrongful death lawsuit comes just 2 days after the same group of 19 families reached a $2 million settlement with the city over the May 24, 2022 Robb Elementary School massacre. So the city of the police that didn't go in, that refused to do whatever, $2 million. 19 kids, 2 teachers. $2 million. That's it. So one of the 2 lawsuits was filed in Los Angeles County Supreme Court against Activision and Meta, Instagram's parent company. The second lawsuit against Daniel Defense was filed in Uvalde District Court. The lawsuits were filed by attorney Josh Koskoff, Koskoff, who representing the same 19 families were part of Wednesday's $2 million settlement. Friday, the lawsuit claims that Instagram, Activision, and Daniel Defense have been, quote, partnering in a scheme that preys upon insecure adolescent boys.
Okay.
Yes. Attorneys claim
the great gun video
game Instagram
and and fucking Mark Zuckerberg conspiracy.
Yes. Attorneys claim that Meta and Activision, quote, enabled and emboldened firearm manufacturers' efforts to expand the market for their weapons by granting unprecedented direct and 24/7 access to children.
Direct access to fire? Did I buy the wrong version of Call of Duty?
Of Instagram. Man.
Am I on the wrong version of Instagram? Is that what the Instagram premium thing is? If I pay for, I just get direct access on demand for some of the most expensive AR-15s in the world.
Sign me up. The lawsuit alleges that the gunman on his 18th birthday purchased the AR-15 used in the Uvalde shooting because, quote, he was targeted and cultivated online by Instagram, Activision, and Daniel Defense. The 3-headed monster knowingly exposed him to weapons, conditioned him to see it as a tool to solve his problems, and trained him to use it.
Trained him to... Yes. Yes. Because as we all know, the codfish of the world, as we like to call them, are really well acquainted with how firearms actually work.
Yes. According to the lawsuit, the Uvalde gunman downloaded, quote, Call of Duty Modern Warfare in November 2021 and had been playing previous iterations of Call of Duty since he was 15 years old. So that's 3 years. The video game prominently features a model of the AR-15 known as the DDM-4V7, which was used in the shooting. Right. That's the Daniel Defense. Quote,
this is the best part.
You want to do it?
Right here.
Go ahead. Do it.
Simultaneously on Instagram, the shooter was being courted through explicit aggressive marketing, in addition to hundreds of images depicting and venerating the thrill of combat. Daniel Defense used Instagram to extol the illegal, murderous use of its weapons. Yes, the platform, which explicitly in its user license agreement bans the advertising of firearms, and has since like 2005.
Yes.
That one definitely encouraged the marketing of firearms.
Buckshot. No, that was Nashville, I believe, or Knoxville.
Yeah, it was
Tennessee. The Caltech one. That was in Tennessee.
But so what they're doing is, so first of all, they're saying that a video game which uses a controller and has some of the, in fact, it is a joke even among Battlefield players, it is some of the least realistic ballistics performance and firearms modeling in the history of video games.
You mean when you shoot someone, they don't fly backwards?
When you when you shoot at incredibly long range, the bullet absolutely goes in a completely straight line all the way there, no matter how far away they are. And instantly gets there as well. And everybody runs around with forearm mounted grappling hooks and things. And so they're claiming
I'm suing because I went to run up a wall the other day, like I learned how to do in Assassin's Creed, and all I did was hit my face on the wall. So I'm going to
You
sue
know,
somebody now. I'm going to sue somebody now because they lied to me.
I mean, personally, I am going to sue Microsoft Flight Simulator because I clearly, in fact, cannot fly an airplane.
Yes.
And I expect to learn how to do that from Flight Simulator on my keyboard and mouse. But anyway,
well, you can learn how to fly. You just don't need to learn how to land.
Well, technically, landing is the easiest thing in the world. Literally every airplane that has ever been flown landed eventually.
Oh, I'm going to call it a day, boys.
It's just whether or not you can fly it again after it lands that time.
Yes,
landing's real easy.
I can't glitch through walls. Look out, Bethesda.
Yes. Yeah. So but here's the thing is so you're trying in your lawsuit. Okay. You are trying to claim one, that a company that was forbidden from actually advertising on a social media platform was advertising. That social media platform encouraged them to advertise and targeted.
Don't forget that is federally illegal. Federally illegal to advertise firearms to children.
Yes. So you're claiming that. You're also claiming that a video game with the least realistic firearms physics of almost any video game that has ever been created.
Yep.
In the modern era of video games, where you use a controller or a mouse and keyboard to control things, somehow trained him how to use the weapon. And you're claiming that all of these elements conspired together specifically to target this kid.
Yes.
To get him to go shooting in a school. That is your claim.
Yes.
There are definitely elements that conspired to get this kid to go shooting. However, I don't think you're going to like to sue who that actually is.
Yes. Yes. This is as bad as what's the Tipper Gore, right? When she had D. Snyder up there on the congressional hearing.
She claimed that Twisted Sister, a band that is fronted by a devout Christian man.
D. Snyder.
Yeah, D. Snyder. She claimed that she also mentioned, and this is my favorite part, she also mentioned Alice Cooper.
Yes.
Who is also known to be a born-again Christian. You're claiming that those men were contributing to the delinquency and aggressive and drug-seeking behavior of adolescents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out well when D. Snyder showed up in front of Congress.
Buckshot wants to know, throwing an axe at someone isn't an instant kill. No, it depends on your modifiers, and then you have to roll for initiative.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the reality is
that's what you get. You have to carry around D20 dice, and then before you throw the axe, you have to roll the die. And I think if you roll over 15 with the modifier, it's an instant kill.
Okay, so what I need is this.
And some of those.
And then I'm gonna need a few of these.
And you have to let the person that you're throwing at roll for their defense.
Right. They need to make a saving throw.
They didn't make a saving throw, yes.
Yeah. No, if you hit someone with one of these with a throw, and this is truly a throwing axe, fun fact. If you hit someone with this, they're not going to be happy about it. However,
even if you miss, they're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, the idea that this is coming at them is going to be very terrifying. This has some weight to it. It really likes to rotate. If you were to hit someone with this in a throw, it's going to hurt them a great deal.
Yes.
But chances are they are not going to die immediately. In fact, chances are very good that they're then going to take the gun that they're holding and shoot you in the face.
That's if you hit them. If you miss them, they're going to pick it up and throw it back at you.
Also, throwing an axe is about the dumbest way you could possibly attack someone with an axe.
Yes.
I have a throwing axe because throwing axes is kind of like throwing darts, except for men.
Is you got to put the axe on the ground. Just set it on the ground and then pick up your controller. Right.
Up, down, left, right.
Oh,
like this is the insane world that these people live in, right? Like this is the absolutely ridiculous world that they live in. It is everyone's fault. Everyone is conspiring. Everyone is at fault except for the shooter.
Yes. And this goes back to the changing the language. Right? Once you redefine victim, right? You find what is it? Justice
system impacted individual.
Justice impacted individual, or something like that, right? That's what he was, just a justice impacted individual, right? He's not an offender. He's not a victim. He's not a not a murderer. He was a justice impacted individual. Yeah, totally. That's the way that works. So, Andrew's looking. I already closed the window. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. Is it bedtime? Almost.
Pretty much.
A total of 13 Eastern Oregon counties have voted in favor of being absorbed into Idaho. Crook County voted on Tuesday on a measure that would allow the county to join the Greater Idaho movement. The movement seeks to move the Oregon-Idaho border to incorporate parts of Eastern Oregon into the Gem State, specifically 14 full Oregon counties and 3 partial ones. As of Wednesday afternoon, the measure in Crook County is set to pass, making it the 13th county to join the movement. Oh. Greater Idaho. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, this is hilarious because remember that the like major cities like Portland, and further down in Washington,
Portland and
further north in Washington, Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Seattle, even the Greater Idaho movement kind of even comes down into like Northern California and stuff.
It can, yeah.
The thing is that like these cities,
the redown movement comes all the way down to Chico, I believe, in Butte County.
Yeah, and so like the thing is like these cities don't produce much on their own, right? Like they don't really produce much economic value on their own unto themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose all of that of their state to Idaho, they have nothing for tax revenue anymore.
Well, not that it's. So the counties that want to leave, the Greater Idaho movement, right? This is all sparsely populated eastern and central parts of Oregon, right? Republican, conservative, tired of not being heard by Portland. It's the same argument we have here in California with the state of Jefferson, in Washington with Eastern Washington, the Greater, or Liberty. Sorry, the Liberty movement. Northern Colorado has the same thing with Denver. It's all over the map. It's all over the map. This is where this happens, right? You have a densely populated urban environment, which has all the political power just on sheer numbers. That's democracy. And you have all these other parts of the state, which are producers of food, of timber, of industry, conservative values, conservative views. They vote red, and they're just completely silenced. They're completely ignored by the urban, liberal, Democrat, Marxist populations because that's how democracy works. Right. So
democracy.
So the Greater Idaho movement is an effort to get these sparsely populated, conservative areas of the state to join a state that actually represents their values.
Well, not only that, but by bringing in that additional territory and those additional voters, it will hopefully counteract Well, and it will hopefully counteract some of the invasion that has happened recently in Idaho from people.
Okay, so funny, right? You hear this all the time. Oh, the Californians are moving to Idaho, blah, 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 blah. Idaho got redder. Idaho got more red. They have a greater population of Republicans, conservatives. They had more Republican conservative votes in the primary and in the recent elections. So Idaho has actually gotten more conservative, more red. 51 moderate Republicans lost their primaries to conservative Republican candidates. So Idaho is getting more red.
I would love to see it so insanely red that it's like just a true bastion. Because the thing is like we've covered stuff where in certain counties in Idaho, there are these Democrats that have been voted in that are like trying to propose stupid bullshit.
Okay, so Idaho is red except for Ada County. Ada County has Boise. Right? So it's like, it's to compare it to Oregon, right? It's Portland. Portland is blue. And then the rest of the state is majority red. In Idaho, the entire thing is red except for Boise, except for Ada County. If you're in Idaho and you know somebody, oh, I'm from Idaho, blah, blah, blah. Oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Ada County. That's literally as bad as for being from California, in their opinions.
See, and that's the thing, though, is like if the Greater Idaho movement happens, right? Like if that actually all goes off and it becomes this big state, whatever, that ideally the hyper left people that are stuck there in Ada County are so overwhelmed and so outnumbered that they start leaving.
Yes.
Like those locusts can move on somewhere else.
Okay, well, I'm not going to bring that up. But yes, that's the hope, part of the hope, yes. Other people have had that same idea in the past.
Deport them.
one way or another.
Just here's a bus. You can get on the bus, and the bus is going to go to Colorado. And you can go to Colorado, which is very blue, and you can go enjoy your time there and away from all of us.
Well, that's the new thing now is places like Colorado, they're getting so many migrants, right, being shipped up from Texas and Arizona that Colorado is putting them on buses to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, to CDA. They are not receiving a warm welcome.
I don't imagine that they are.
They're not receiving a warm welcome. Let's just say about that. Hopefully that stops soon.
Which is funny because, like, if you talk to an awful lot of the children of Mexican immigrants themselves and things, if you talk to them, you will realize that the majority of them are actually quite conservative.
Yes.
and very right wing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them also absolutely oppose the current immigration policy and are like, no, absolutely not. Yep. Like, you should not just be trucking these people in because half of these people are cartel.
Yes.
Like, stop just bringing them in. The entire reason that we left Mexico in the first place was the people that you're now trucking in.
Yeah. My lady friend, she was born in Mexico. Her dad's native Mexican. She's Mexican. Her mom is Lebanese, right? So during the coup in Lebanon, the Christians fled Lebanon. She ended up in Mexico, met her dad, right? Either way, but they came here when she was like 9 or 10, something like that. So they've been here 30 something years, and they despise the illegal immigrants. They despise them. They came here legally. They're naturalized citizens. They vote. They pay taxes, etc., etc. Good conservative Christian values, all that good stuff. But they despise the illegal immigrants because the illegal immigrants come here and try to make this place like the place they just left.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why people in Wisconsin hate Californians, right?
I'm in California and I hate Californians.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Josh left California and hates Californians.
Yeah.
So
I hate Josh for leaving me here. Motherfucker, could have put me in the moving truck. I just sat in the back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had a couch or something back there. So
Sandy would have welcomed me.
Yeah, you could have, you got a 5-gallon bucket for the bathroom. You got your, I'm sure you could figure it out. But it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
But the thing is like you see that with so many of these movements like this, right? Like, and where it's people from California, they move to Texas, they move to Idaho, they move to Colorado, they move to Wisconsin, and immediately go, well, I left California because I didn't like the tax rate, and I didn't like the crime rate, and I didn't like all these things. Hey, but I want to go ahead and put all of the policies that made all of those things happen in place here. And then they go, oh God, this place sucks now too. And then they pack up and they move again. They're fucking locusts. Yes. They are locusts, a ravenous fucking horde seeking to destroy everything good everywhere they go.
Yes. They're worse than cicadas.
Cicadas aren't even destructive.
I'm just saying, if you live in a place where it gets snow in the middle of May, there's going to be less people. Sign me up.
Ideally.
Sign me up.
But look at Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where it snows in May in Colorado, there are no people.
Well, that's true. That's true. I can actually remember, was I in Colorado? Where was I? That might have been Wyoming. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. We might have been in Wyoming at that point, but we were on the Continental Divide.
Uh-huh.
And it was like July 17th.
Yeah.
And we got like 6 inches of snow overnight.
Yes. Sign me up.
And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Sign me up.
No, that's awful.
No.
The land of always winter.
If I had Idaho, if I had land in Idaho, and I had a cabin built, and I had a nice warm fireplace, 12-inch thick log walls, with every good law that Idaho has, or we'll go Western Montana because I know you prefer Montana. We'll go Western Montana. If I had a big piece of land, say it 4,000 feet, 4,500 feet, someplace like that, with a big log cabin, a big giant fireplace. You telling me you wouldn't want to come stay?
Oh, I mean, visit.
We'll put snow tires on the Alpha.
Yeah, because that'll make a difference. First of all, I drove the Alpha.
The little spiky tires.
You don't even need that. Like, I will point out that this winter, in desperation during a snowstorm, I did have to make a run to the store. Okay. Uh-huh. And I did it in the Alpha, and La Crosse is notorious about not plowing. And it was during a major snowstorm. There was probably about 4.5 inches of snow on the road.
Uh-huh.
And I was just running my regular all-season tires, and she cruised like a champ. Did not break a sweat, did not hesitate, absolutely like a champ, right? Granted, I had to flip it all the way down into advanced gas saver / all-weather, but she ran like a champ. She had no problems doing it. However, there is a point where ground clearance is an issue for that car, and that was already an issue. Like, hold on,
let me Google Alfa Romero lift kits.
No, there's no lift kits for the. I mean, there might be lift kits for the Stelvio, because the Stelvio's
what is basically
yours? Mine's a Giulia. But I mean, if you wanted a Stelvio, but with a lift kit, you know what you just go buy is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, because underneath it's basically the exact same vehicle. Although realistically, if you're going to buy a luxury SUV that you want to off-road with, there is only one answer for that. One above all others.
Okay,
Porsche Cayenne.
I did find one that does make a lift kit. They're small lift kits though. They only go up to 2 inches.
That's all you need. At least that's what I'm told.
Mm-hmm. Oh goodness. Oh, it's a lowering kit. I don't want a lowering kit.
See,
Ooh,
they're not
a suspension body kit.
They're sport luxury SUVs. They are not designed. They are not designed for this. No,
Hey, you know what it is? We'll just we'll be close to Northern Idaho. We'll get the Grindhard Plumbing Company guys. Right, they're the ones that made that motorcycle video I showed you. They'll figure it out.
They're them. Also, Sea Boys. If you haven't watched Sea Boys, they're from just the next state over from me. They're in Minnesota. And they're pretty awesome.
You can get a lift. You get some 35s.
I would still rather a Porsche Cayenne. I need a Porsche Cayenne. The Buckshot mentioned Land Rover. So I had a Range Rover for years. I loved my Range Rover. I adored my Range Rover Sport. That thing was just a beast off-road. Absolute beast. It was unfreaking stoppable. It was insane how good it was. However, it is British. Yeah. And there are things that come with buying a British vehicle that are not associated with low maintenance costs.
Yes.
However, a Cayenne, honestly, a Cayenne Turbo S, you buy a Cayenne Turbo S, you can lift those things. You can throw skid plates on them. You can throw all this stuff. There's all this stuff gets made for them, and you can just rock and roll off road with those things. And they are phenomenal off road.
Yeah, that's what you can get one of those, and we'll do a gumball, a Greater Idaho gumball.
There'd be a lot of people who would sign up for that. There's actually, so the Vin Wiki crew actually got their hands on a set of Porsche Cayennes made by a company that I think is like in Idaho, that build off-road vehicles. And they drove them from Vancouver, Washington up to the Arctic Circle in Alaska and back again.
Nice.
And it's super cool. They look amazing. I really, really desperately want one.
All right, let's fucking tight. All right, let's get some links and let's get out of here.
Oh, if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, like I do, you're going to use thebeardstruggle.com and use code InkedAnarchist15 and you get 15% off. They make beard washes, they make beard conditioners, they make colognes, they even make stuff for ladies. No, not ladies with beards. You're not dwarves, people. But they do make all that stuff.
Non-birthing individuals.
Oh, Jesus. No. I absolutely refuse to refer to people that way. But and if that hurts your feelings, good. So they are fantastic. They're an absolutely fantastic place. I've been a beard Viking for them for an extended period of time. So has Hathor Bjornsson. Gotten to have conversations with him directly because of being a beard Viking. It's super, super cool, but they make awesome products with awesome scents. They're super great. Check them out. Thebeardstruggle.com, InkedAnarchist15. We also are partnered with Reaper brand apparel. They're an awesome brand that has an awesome message. They have great quality products. And if you don't follow their Instagram to get their videos regularly and everything else, you are missing out very, very much on really good mental health stuff and life-changing attitude stuff and everything else. They have a 10-day challenge that will change your freaking life. They are amazing, and we are so proud to be partnered with them. Again, that's Reaper brand apparel. If you use code InkedAnarchist, you get 10% off. If you use the link in our link tree, you get 15% off. So I recommend using that. We are also sponsored by RK Spookware. If you know who they are, you know what they do. And if you use, hang on, I got a big old roll right here, big old roll of PLA for certain things, you know that you need metal parts. for that. And if you need those metal parts, they are the place to go for those. Check them out. Use the link in our link tree. And
Poppins Patches. Dave, Poppins Patches. The Instagram reached 1,000 followers. So Dave, I think he said the 29th is going to have the draw for the patch giveaway. He is giving away 69 patches.
Nice.
So go like the Instagram of Poppins Patches before then. If you can get in, I don't know. That's not my deal, but Chris says show off the new patch, Andrew.
It's out in the living room, and I don't wanna.
Yeah. It was just one time anyway.
It says it's one fucking time. Did I ever mail those patches? I have all of the patches in envelopes. I have not actually mailed them yet because I have been stupid busy.
Fucking lazy.
Stupid busy. I've been really, really busy. I work a day job. I'm sorry, guys. I work a day job, and it's a lot. And frequently not just a day job, also a night job. I am also now embarking on a writing journey that is blowing my mind. I don't know how I stumbled into this, but I will be starting a Kickstarter relatively soon for it. I am writing a book, a children's book, believe it or not, about Sitting Bull's horse.
Nice. And, on that note,
yeah. So watch for that. I will post a link once that happens, so you guys can give me money.
Yes. Got anything else? Anything else you want to
say? Jeremy Quartering. You can see the thing across the bottom there, and you guys know
Rumble, Odyssey.
Yeah. Check out our stuff. Lions Not Sheep. You know the drill.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.